Aita for telling my kinda DIL she isn't giving birth to Jesus, and if she doesn't clean then she can get out of my home. My son and his girlfriend have been dating since college. They graduated last year and are 22 and 23. They used to have an apartment together but soon found out she was pregnant. I was not happy when they informed me. I knew they could not afford it, but they wanted to keep the baby. They also are doing a shotgun wedding soon. Soon after they asked to move into my home. It is a large home with plenty of space. They wanted to save money for the baby. I made it clear they will need to do chores and but their own food. They agreed and are so messy. I have talked to both of them before and they keep telling me they will do better. My son has been traveling for a job and it became clear that she is the one being a mess. In short, she is slob, she leaves dishes out constantly, her stuff is all over the house, her bathroom is so gross. I have talked to her over and over again. I have talked to my son and he has talked to her. She is 8 months pregnant and her excuse is she cannot clean. Well, she hasn't been cleaning since she moved in 6 months ago. I came home with groceries and tripped over her shoes. I had enough. I told her that she isn't giving birth to Jesus and if she doesn't clean then she can get out of my house. She started to cry and my son is pissed at me. I reminded him that I am doing them a huge favor and doubled down on cleaning. For more stories, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks. Now to a few comments. I'm going to reluctantly say NTA because technically you're in the right, but really you should have dealt with this months ago. After she has the baby she's not going to get to a full night's sleep for months and she sounds like she's high risk for PPD, which yeah. Not sure what your living situation is, but if I was in your shoes I'd divide the house up and put one of them or myself in an apartment and then just start charging them rent if they're so messy it's damaging your property. Ignore the people that are going to tell you to kick them out. Don't do that to your grandson. Next comment. Have you given them exact details on what it is you want? I realize that you shouldn't have to do that with adults. However, this isn't working for everyone. You agreed to this situation, so you have some responsibility to fix it as well. Landlords give lease conditions. Do the same. You expect all dishes to be cleaned and put away within a certain amount of time. The bathroom needs to be cleaned once a week. That sort of thing. You are NTA for having expectations and boundaries. You would be if you choose to spring moving out on them when they could be having a baby at any time. This is your child and grandchild, even if you aren't happy with them having a baby. She's stuck in a situation where her partner is gone most of the time. She doesn't feel supported or welcome in her current home. She is having her first baby with little support. You are not at fault, but you did allow this situation to begin. You've let it go on for months. For the sake of your child and grandchild, you should try some things to get them on track. She also sounds as though she is depressed. I would be careful about badgering someone who is in a weakened mental state and so vulnerable with a pregnancy. Your son shouldn't be leaving his responsibilities as a father and partner like he is. He took away her privacy and ability to control her own living situation when her body and life is completely changing anyway. That's not great, and he should have adjusted his situation to make this less difficult for everyone. And the next. If she doesn't start cleaning at 8 months pregnant then she won't with a baby, like yeah, sure. But she's 8 months pregnant. Is it objectively horrendously messy, or do you have exacting standards? Not saying you can't have those standards, but standards differ. Is her bathroom, which I presume you don't have to go into, just a cluttered counter when you prefer to keep them bare? Or is there shit stains on the toilet as developed as her baby? If the latter, NTA. But if the former, ESH. She should be putting dishes away after using them. You're well within your right to want things to the standard you want, but it doesn't mean you aren't holding someone to too high of a standard, especially if they are significantly pregnant. There are countless posts in this sub about people being tired and getting no help keeping a house from their partners, parents, or in-laws, adding stress. And people rightly comment that those posters aren't the off for them being tired or annoyed. It feels kind of like you're mad at her for getting pregnant and then rushing to get married and venting it out in this arena instead. So Aita, what's your opinion? Next story. Aita for canceling my vacation because my sister is sending her kids? IEL, need to bounce something off ya. We've been planning a family vacation for months. This would be my first vacation in 15 years, and it's kicked off a big deal. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and this year is just the first year I've enjoyed getting out. My sister has had her struggles in her adult life, and she has 3 kids that spend half their time with their grandparents/my parents. They're fun kids, but they aren't well-mannered. They don't listen unless it involves yelling or being asked multiple times. Telling them to not do something often results in them doing it when nobody is looking. Today we get together for Father's Day and I find my sister isn't going, but she's still sending her kids. This frustrated me quite a bit, but I definitely wasn't going to speak my mind around the kids. I decided to give it a few hours and reset to observe what I could expect. 3 kids spanning 4 to 6, just bullying adults until they get what they want. My vacation quickly began to look like I was just leaving the state to babysit. I'm not a parent, I'm not good with kids, but I don't hate kids. I don't want to spend my week trying to get a handle on 3 kids at a campground, despite my parents would still do most of the work. I told my parents I wasn't going on vacation, and that I didn't sign up to watch my sister's kids. I know my mom feels terrible, and I feel like I've put her in a difficult spot. My sister has a job and boyfriend, and less free time than I'm sure she'd like, but she's no single mom with no support system. I don't think it's right to just expect someone take your kids on vacation, while you sit at home. Ada? Edit, thanks all, I was feeling pretty shitty and selfish with the plans of leaving tomorrow morning. After calming down and reading your responses, I think I made the right, and understandable choice. I'm going to stick to it. To those wanting to make sure I get a good vacation, I promise to make it my most enjoyable and active staycation to date. I still have a state park pass and kayaks aren't bad, I'll certainly make the most of it. Now the comments. That seems like a stretch. Being the village is inherently a choice at the end of the day, just like opting out is a choice. Family is complicated. The fact that someone chooses to go far out of their way is not in and of itself indicative that they are being manipulated or taken advantage of. The fact that mom and dad are getting a break and will presumably enjoy it is not some big secret that the grandparents don't already know/need help discovering. It's pretty intuitive that the absence of small children frees up a lot of time. Next comment. It's possible. It's also possible that the grandparents engage in the same lack of discipline. It's equally as likely that they despise the lack of discipline and are trying to give their grandkids some structure. Or that they feel obliged due to personal/religious/cultural notions of family. We can't assume their opinion is a reflection of Op's, especially when their actions are so different. Op describes the grandparents as 50-50 caregivers. That's a pretty significant sacrifice to one's freedom, privacy, marriage, home, and finances. The benefit/motive may not be tangible or immediately obvious to us, but whatever the reason is, they're taking them. I don't blame Op for opting out. But if the grandparents spend that much time watching the kids, it's almost irrefutably something they've chosen to do. Even marginally involved grandparents sometimes take their grandchildren on solo trips. And NTA. I know my mom feels terrible, and I feel like I've put her in a difficult spot. Wrong. Your mom put herself in a difficult spot by agreeing to babysit your sister's kids and call it a vacation. What a bunch of BS. Honestly, I have no idea why you agreed to go on a family vacation as your first vacation in 15 years. Geez. When I think about the word vacation, going on a trip with family is on the absolute bottom of the list. Plan something fun and carefree, with zero responsibilities of any kind. So Aita? What's your opinion? For more stories please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thanks.